What's going on, you guys? Slim here today with another video, and I got you guys with, of course, another OTS championship deck profile. If you guys are new here, consider subscribing. Be sure to hit the notification bell. You guys will be notified whenever I upload. Like I said, there's a lot of profiles coming on this channel. Due to the coronavirus, everyone knows there is unfortunately a lot of tournaments that have been canceled, so these OTS championships were pretty much the last things that we got before this all happened. But I want to give a shout out to my boy Daniel here. He ended up getting second place at his OTS with Cyber Dragons. This list is pretty spicy, you guys. I like it a lot. I really like it. I think it's cool that Cyber Dragons are still being played. If you notice, it's not Cyber Dragon Orcus like what Blair Hunter was playing. It's just like straight up like Kaiju, Cyber Dragon, OTK, kind of old-fashioned the way Cyber Dragons used to operate, and I'm super excited for it. So we're going to get into it. He also gave me some notes as well as his tournament report, so bear with me. I have all that in front of me, and I'll be reading that to you guys. But yeah, we'll get into the main deck real quick. So of course, we got two copies of LAKEY. So what's really cool is this card started to see a lot of play in the Cyber Dragon deck just because you do play lights and darks. You do play a lot of lights. Being able to reborn another light monster with its light effect, which is usually the least utilized effect, is awesome. I think that a lot of players forgot about that, and LAKEY is just really cool in this deck. Being able to make rank 8s such as Dingirsu, as you see that's in the extra deck, is very cool as well. I like that he decided to go this route because this gives you another beater. It gives you the ability, if you do have lights and darks, to clear away some back rows or problematic monsters, or it gives you the ability to reborn a light monster and keep comboing, so it's pretty nice. Of course, the namesake of the deck, triple Cyber Dragon, you have to play it. Card's insane going second. Still got to play it till Master Rule 5 takes effect because it just breaks the whole board by itself. 3 copies of Core, easily the best card in the deck. Don't really need to explain this. You guys already know this resolves. It's nuts. 3 copies of Hers. This card is amazing as well. You've got your 2 copies of Naster. Yeah, he only played 2. I think that's pretty standard. I think most players just play 2. I don't think you need to play more than 2. I could break it 3, and I think 2 is just a perfect number. And if you notice, he is playing Kaiju, so he has 1 copy of Dogrom, the 2 copies of Galaxy Soldier, 2 copies of Gamma Seal, and 2 copies of Jizakuru. So if you notice, he's playing a much heavier Kaiju lineup than most Cyber Dragon decks, playing a total of 5 along with the 2 copies of Slumber. Gives you the ability to just break an opponent's board, just, Kaiju, Slumber their whole board, give them a Kaiju, and just OTK them, so it's pretty crazy. Along with 3 copies of Nibiru. Nibiru is really cool for the fact that it's also a light monster. You can discard it for your Galaxy Soldier, which does come up. Plus, being able to punish your opponent when they overcommit is super important in this format. So, card's amazing in this deck. On to the spells, you got 2 copies of Cosmic Cyclone for, pesky back row and floodgates. 3 copies of Emergency, just, add whatever you need to your deck. They ash it, they're foolish, but if it happens, it happens. Of course, the 1 Repair Plant and the 1 Rev System, just necessary in this deck. And then one of the best OTK cards in this deck, the Cyber Load Fusion, being a quick play is insane. This card can win you just endless games. Being able to just, attack with everything and then use this and just completely just obliterate your opponent is ridiculous. The 2 copies of Slumber that we talked about, I really like this a lot. This has multiple versatility, not only to, clear a board, put Kaijus on your opponent's side of the board, but also the ability to, banish this and then search a Kaiju for a follow-up play is amazing. So I'm a huge fan of that. I think that's awesome in this deck. 3 copies of Machine Dupe. If you Machine Dupe the Core, it's like game. It's over game. It's ridiculous if it resolves, so it's pretty crazy. He's got only 1 copy of Overflow. Maybe all you need. I'm not really sure. This card is really cool, though. A lot of times you could just open this and just completely just blow up your opponent's entire board and then just win the game off that, so this card is amazing. Of course, you're going second deck, so 3 copies of Evenly in the main. We already know that this is one of the main cards that you play in this format because it's just necessary. You absolutely need to be playing Evenly this format. It just breaks every board, baits every negate. I mean, I say it every video, but it is true. This is a card that you definitely want to have in your main deck or your side deck. And then he decided to round it out with 2 copies of Impermanence. Now, I know a lot of people will say, oh, you can play 40 cards in this deck. In his notes, he told me about why he played, more than 40. So I'll just read it to you guys real quick for anyone that is wondering. So things that he wanted to note. 42 cards in the main deck, which is perfect because his deck is not one that needs to be exactly 40 cards. Every single card performed great at its number, and I wouldn't change the ratio, so he was very happy with his main deck. Other things he wants to mention, 2 Cosmics is perfect in the main. It's clutch against most matchups. It's always good against a lot of problematic cards, such as Zombie World. There can only be 1, Mystic Mind, Diagram, Babel, Lunalight Tiger, etc. A lot of cards is awesome, so he would definitely still play it. Nibiru, like I already mentioned, being able to ditch it for Galaxy Soldier is awesome. 2 Naster was perfect for him. You don't need to play 3, it's personal preference. Because of the Cosmic Cyclone and the Cybernetic Overflow, I consider taking out the Phoenix, which you guys will see is in the extra deck, for maybe another Chimera tech. But when Verte comes out, I will put in 1 or 2 Super Poly in the main and replace the Phoenix with it. Makes sense. Just some other stuff that he wanted to mention about the main deck is that the Kaiju engine is just there to make Dingirsu, since Jizakuru is a machine. You can end up contact fusing for Fortress Dragon with it, which is a level 8. Other things you can just do, being able to go into Dingirsu in main phase 2. Gameciel is a level 8 as well. Gameciel is there in case you aren't able to contact fuse the Jizakuru in the event that you don't have access Cyber Dragons, or if you have already used the Fortress, you just give yourself the Jizakuru, give your opponent the Gameciel for free damage. Very true. On to his side deck real quick. You got triple copies of Denko. You don't really normal summon in this deck outside of cores, so card is amazing just against back row decks. I don't think a lot of people still respect this because everyone is focusing on Lightning Storm, so a lot of people are not expecting Denko, and then Denko could just win the entire match by itself. 2 copies of Ogre. Card's just very versatile. Gets pretty much everything in this format. Getting a problematic card off the board is super important. You may not negate its effects, but getting off the board sometimes is more important. 3 copies of Dark Ruler, no more. It just breaks an entire board by itself. Not, you just do this, contact away the whole board, the game's over. 3 Super Poly. I mean, this card just puts in a lot of work. If you guys see in the extra deck, he's got the Super Poly targets that come up. Just really versatile card, can break boards by itself, so card's very strong. 3 copies of Twin Twister, standard backer removal, and the 1 red reboot. You are an OTK deck, so you definitely can just play the red reboot and just go for game with this deck, so I really like that. To his extra deck, he's got the 1 Chimera Fortress, along with the 2 copies of Mega Fleet. So Mega Fleet, unfortunately, in the near future, will be seeing less play, but for the time being, it's still very strong. Usually people always end with a monster in the extra monster zone, so being able to just contact that away with the Cyber Dragon for free is ridiculous. Fortress Dragon is also amazing. If you do play the mirror match, if your opponent leaves up a Cyber Dragon, you just contact away the whole board for free. Kind of ridiculous. Another thing to note is this is a level 8, so it does come up. You have, of course, the 1 Rampage Dragon. When this card comes up, it's game. It gets to attack up to like 3 times, I believe, and it's just over game, so this card is insane. For a Super Poly target, of course, there's a Starving Venom Fusion Dragon. Card's very strong, especially with all the darks that people play these days. Against Shaddolls, it's just broken. You got the 1 Durandal, so this is very interesting. I haven't seen people play this card in a really long time, but I really, really like this card. Just an old school artifact card that people play. When a monster effect is activated on the field, or when a normal spell or trap is activated, you can detach a material. The activated effect, I believe, becomes discard or pop 1 card on the field, something like that. Something crazy. I'm going to read it real quick, because I actually haven't read this card in a while. Becomes... Let's see, you can detach from this. It becomes destroy 1 spell or trap card your opponent controls. That's awesome. You can also use the effect to mulligan your hand, so that's very, very cool. Each player shuffles their entire hand in the deck, then draws the same amount of cards they shuffled into the deck, so very, very cool. Very versatile card. Of course, 2 copies of Infinity, along with the 1 Nova. That's pretty standard. Then we've got the 1 Dingirsu, which he talked about at length. Being able to make this, along with your level 8s as well as your Legionnaire is very strong. This card gets another problematic card off the board. It also protects your entire board, so that's extremely strong. I really like that a lot. The 1 Seeger, very standard for the deck. The 1 Phoenix, we already talked about how he might replace it for something else. The 1 Linkuriboh, of course, for all the level 1s. The Cleafor Genius, this card is amazing. People forget that this card just can negate stuff, and this card's nuts. And then the 1 Almirage, again, very standard for the Cyber Dragon decks to be playing this card. So other things I want to mention, he talked about the Super Poly gave access to the Starving Venom Dragon, which is also a level 8, very important. He talked about the 42 cards. Originally, he was maining Super Poly and siding other stuff, siding Evenlies, but he decided to put Evenly in the main deck, and it was awesome, so that's fantastic. He talked about how the Cosmic, of course, is already important against Floodgates and whatnot. Other things to note is that he did play the Cleafor Genius for when you can make Dingirsu and Infinity a bit later in the game, but the 2 zones is very nice to have in case I need them. It also has an effect to negate the effects of a card I control and a card my opponent controls, which is nice. Like I said, it can help you negate a Floodgate card, so this card is very strong. Denko is nice against back row decks and Shaddol, because most of the time they elder the El Shaddol Fusion and don't expect it, in which case I usually win. His matchups are he played against 2 Draco, 2 Salad, 1 Dino, 1 Shaddol. I lost to 1 Dino player, 1 Solid player. In the top cut, I played against the same Draco player, then against another Dino player, then against the same Salad player whom I lost to. I got hit with Nibiru, then lost the following game. He ended up going undefeated the entire tournament. So those are just a couple things we wanted to mention. I want to say thank you, bro, again for sending me your deck. Cyber Dragons is awesome, you guys. I know that a lot of people are kind of doubting this deck in the near future because of Master Rule 5, but I think the deck is still very cool. I think the deck can still OTK. I think it can still pull a lot of tricks out of its hat that I think a lot of people are going to be paying attention to. Being able to incorporate the kaijus is amazing. It gives you the ability to OTK your opponent, and granted, you may not be able to, contact away with Mega Fleet, but giving your opponent machine monsters can allow you to contact still into Fortress Dragon. I think that's very strong. So remember that is, even if we lose Mega Fleet and Mega Fleet loses popularity, you have plenty of more options you can do with the Cyber Dragon deck. So I definitely want to see what happens to this deck in the near future. I think the deck is a great call if you have all the cards. It's just a really cool deck overall, and I think it's something that you definitely should not sleep on and definitely not give up on in the next Master Rule. But yeah, that's all I got to say, you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this deck profile. Expect to see more deck profiles in the next couple of days. I've got a bunch of different ones coming for you guys. I've got heroes. I got Grand Maju Stun. I've got I got some Shadol lists. I got plenty of stuff for you guys. So even though the format is kind of frozen right now, best way to say it, because of what's going on in the world, even though a lot of events are canceled, we're still going to have a lot of tournament results from our OTS, and we'll definitely be using those to shape our format. And I think it'll be very, very interesting to see when Master Rule 5 takes place and our new ban list comes out, how these decks will be affected. But yeah, those are all my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comments below. Give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for watching.